Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining me this morning. I hope that you will find this session very interesting. I'd like to turn your attention to Book of Revelation, chapter 13, verses 1 through 3. I'd like to go ahead and read this for you. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads and 10 crowns on his horn, and each had a blasphemous name. The dragon gave the beast his power, his throne, and of course, his authority. As we all know, that the world is approaching the end time. The world is about to see the emergence of the Antichrist. It is going to happen very soon. There is no question about that. We are indeed living in the end time. It is time for us to talk about both politics and religion concurrently. And of course, the beast represents the Antichrist, who will take power in the world. And more than likely, the Antichrist is going to emerge from the European Union. And today, European Union is a 27-member state. But at the time of the Antichrist, it will be dwindled down to a 10-member state. More than likely, and please don't quote me on that, if you are a clairvoyant, and if you have the capability of clairvoyance, which is sixth sense, you can predict the future, kind of, based on the kind of information that you have available. I'm talking about axiom. You can draw a conclusion based on the scientific evidence rather than having the actual information that can be connected to predicting the future. So Russia, Egypt, Turkey, China, India, Turkey, Iran are the 7 heads, which are 7 kingdoms that will rule at the time of the Antichrist. So today we have a lot of countries in the world that have power, political power and military power. These entities, these empires will continue to carry on with their power for the end time. But most importantly, there are 10 empires or countries that will be in existence at the time of the Antichrist. These are more than likely going to be France, Britain, Germany, Italy, Russia, Belgium, Netherlands, Spain, Turkey, and Greece. Based on the population these countries have, I picked these, and also based on the power associated with these countries, I picked them. And there is no question that Russia is going to be involved. Today, Russia is part of the Asian continent and European continent. And of course, Russia is going to come against Israel during the last war, which will be fought at the time of the Antichrist. And as everybody knows, that the reign of the Antichrist is characterized by the first 3.5 years of tribulation period and the last 3.5 years of tribulation period. For the first 3.5 years of period, everything is going to be so perfect, as everyone knows. I'm going to be talking about the economy at the time of the first 3.5 years of the rule of the Antichrist. And the 10 crowns that I spoke about in this verse represent political and ruling power. So as we know, that Satan is going to grant the power, the authority to the Antichrist and the false prophet. False prophet is going to come from Rome. There is no question about that, because Rome has a lot of power today. So let's see if we can go through these. What are some of the characteristics associated with a strong economy? We always want to strive to accomplish our economic goals. When I took the economics course about 22 years ago, I flunked, not because of my academic performance because I did not drop it on time. But anyway, number one, economic growth. So this is going to be characterized by increasingly high economic growth, high productivity, high supply of goods and goods and services. Strong labor market. There is going to be a strong labor market in which there will be a lot of people, a productive workforce. Stable price. Price will be stable so that inflation rate can be reduced. This is going to be one of the characteristics of a strong economy under the leadership of Antichrist. Rising living standards. People will be able to live a very productive life because of the financial resources that are available to them. Productivity and innovation. So this economy at the time of the Antichrist will be characterized by tremendous innovation and productivity. Consumer confidence. A lot of people will be confident enough to carry out economic activities. That is very important. So that enhances the power of having a good economy. Efficient market. Market is going to be so wonderful. So, for example, our stock market will continue to be stabilized and all over the world. That is going to happen. Job security and purchasing power. People will be able to find the job that they will be looking for, and they will have high capability of purchasing power. They will have cash. They will not be cash strapped. They will have a lot of money they will have high purchasing power. And some of you may diametrically oppose this, probably because you don't think that we will have the resources to carry on having a good economy, but that's okay. You can think that way. That's no problem. Financial well-being. People will be very wealthy. We're only talking about the first 3.5 years of the tribulation period. When it comes to the second half, it is going to be totally different. People will suffer. There will not be a good economy. So we're talking about the Antichrist setting his foot in the door to let everybody believe in his capability, to draw the attention of the people to him so that he can have them on board to worship him or do whatever he wanted them to do. So what are some of the characteristics of a strong economic growth? Of course, it is GDP, gross domestic product. It is the total output of all the goods and services at any given time. And real GDP, this is the actual GDP that we have as opposed to the nominal GDP, which is not, real GDP is adjusted for inflation, and nominal GDP is not adjusted for inflation. That's why you see this number being high. Per capita can be found by dividing the population from GDP, the total the total GDP amount. And inflation, of course, it is the rate at which price increases, price of goods and services increases. Standard of living. Of course, standard of living is going to be a great characterization of a good economy. And if we can provide a good standard of living for people, and of course that is that is a sign of having a productive life. Output increase. There will be massive increase in output. I'm talking about goods and services that is going to be generated by the businesses at the time, the corporations, the mid-sized businesses and small businesses. Economic expansion. We're talking about having the ability to expand the economy to other regions. It is also true that, different quarters, we can perform well in all of our quarters consecutively. That is very important. I mean, that's the economic expansion is all about. And economic cycle is very important to talk about when we talk about economic growth. There are four things that I'll talk about. Is the expansion, the capability of the capability to expand the economy, and peak, the highest performance level of the economy, and decline. It is the phase where the economy is declining and it comes to the lowest point. It's called trough, and that's where we don't have a lot of economic activities. And expansion and contraction is another one that I would like to talk about. You can expand the economy and you can contract the economy. If we don't have a lot of activities going on within our economy, then of course that is a sign of a contraction. We want to avoid it. It is the same as having a bear market and a bull market. So labor productivity is one of the things that has to be taken into consideration. So we want to have a sustained labor market. We want to have enough people to work for our economy, we're talking about our country. Capital goods. We want to have access to all the raw materials at a cheaper rate in order for us to be productive and efficient in our product cycle, or in our ability to produce products. Technological advancements, and of course we want to tap into all the technology that we can have to be efficient in our ability to produce goods and services in our country or wherever. So this is going to be a characterization of a good economy at the time of the Antichrist. It is the increased efficiency of output, by the way. If we have a productive input, then of course we can have a productive output. Human capital is very important. We want to have highly skilled and knowledgeable and healthy workforce. That's what we want to aim to. That is we want to aim for. That is what we want to accomplish. So we always want to strive for having a workforce that is characterized by having great knowledge and high dexterity, and of course good health. Production possibility curve is the very last thing that I would like to talk about when it comes to economic growth. So what is production possibility curve, also known as PPC? It is a model that illustrates the maximum possibility combinations of two goods with fixed amount of resources and technology. It is a trade-off between two products in terms of accomplishing goals with limited resources and technology. So if you were to go and look up this, and you will see this curve expanding outward. So the more it can get expanded outward, then we're talking about our ability to have a stable economy or a desired economy. So if you start, if you have on the x-axis, you have one product. On the y-axis, you have another product. So when you give up on one product, you gain on the other one. That's what this graph represents, by the way. So basically, PPC is a very important indicator of accessing economic growth when it comes to two products. So it is very valuable for any company to use in order for them to see where they stand in terms of their products. So ladies and gentlemen, I will definitely come back with you with another video in just a little bit. I hope I will do it. And till then, may God bless you. Jesus Christ is Lord. And Antichrist will come and he will take power. And maybe he is alive. We don't know. He's going to come from the European Union, by the way, not from the United States. It is going to be from the European Union. There is no question about that. A lot of people are on the lookout for him. And I am too. And we'll see what happens, okay? And I want you all to take care of yourself for right now. and shalom.